Hey, good morning everybody. It's Ben Jones here from Bad Dwarf and Bronson Coffee Roasters, hanging out in my coffee workshop this morning. Let me tweak on that camera there. Alright, today we're going to talk about paper filters or gold cone. And kind of the too long didn't watch version is yes, they're both great. If you're talking about, do I get a motorcycle or a pickup truck? They both have their bonus points and they both have their drawbacks. I suppose these are more similar than motorcycles and pickups to each other, but point being, all right, we'll talk about paper filters because this is what I like to use. I use this because I really enjoy the super clean taste of paper filtered coffee. The paper filter absorbs oils, fats, collects all the little small particles that are coming through in the coffee, and doesn't put it into the beverage. It gets trapped in the paper. The other thing I like about the paper filter is when I'm done, I collect it from the brewer, I put it into my compost, I rinse out my brewer real well, and then I'm done. Piece of cake. Gold cone. Benefits of this. If you want a cup of coffee that has a little more texture to it, if you want to have a little bit of fine particles, if you want to see some of the sediment floating in your cup, you'll want to opt for a metal filter, the metal mesh in this style. The metal mesh, of course, it doesn't collect oils, so it lets those pass into the cup. It doesn't hold back the fine particles, it can pass through the gaps, so you get all that artifact and that texture in your coffee. So, if you like a little bit of texture in your coffee, go for this. If you like nice clean coffee, go for that. Some people really appreciate the metal filter for its reusability. If you're in a place where you can't just fall down the hill to the local market and get some more paper filters, this is great. So when the zombie apocalypse comes and all that, I'll go and grab this as well as my last pack of paper filters. So I want to make coffee still. So reusable, super great. Cleaning is a little more difficult. After you take it out, you don't want to throw it this way, so you dump it out, you shake it out, and then I like to rinse it from the outside inward, try to get it all nice and clean. The oils will still cling to this, so you got to use either really hot water and then also periodically use some kind of agent that will pull off those coffee oils. Baking soda works reasonably well. Some people soak it in vinegars. There's also the like Ernix style espresso machine cleaners that are phenomenal for the cleaning off the oils, but they are harsh on the plastic. So there's a couple differences. Another thing is environmental concerns. We do want to be careful of those. Paper filters. This essentially at one point was a tree. It's paper fiber. I don't believe many brands are using recycled content just because for the flavor we tend to go with pristine, clean, new crop. But the trees that are grown for paper we're not cutting down redwood, old growth forests. This is poplar stands that are grown like a crop. So deforestation isn't happening due to paper filters. Some people are concerned with that, go with the metal. The other challenge here is that you have to mine the ores for the metals. Mining has its own drawbacks, and then of course petroleum product and plastic for people trying to avoid contact with hot water and plastic. These are a concern. So, is there a perfect answer? No, there's not. I'm cutting down trees, but I didn't dig extra holes in the ground, and what are we gonna do? Some folks out there say espresso. Espresso is metal filter, so you get all that texture, you get all that stuff. Yeah, and for folks like espresso is definitely the only thing that will do what it does. So I want to make a little cup of coffee using, I'm going to use that metal filter, and I want to show kind of how all that goes. The coffee I'm making today, I have a bag of the Burundi, the Gahahe. This is Just a delicious, beautiful coffee. Has that really just fantastic coffee undertone, which we're always looking for. Brilliant notes of apricot and tangerine, so very kind of like light citrus, and that kind of orangey stone fruit thing. Not stone fruit like an avocado, but stone fruit like a peach, and a nectarine, tangerine, oranginess to it. Super cool coffee. Anyway, always start with the rinse, just because that's the best practice. Even with the metal filter, I like to give it a little rinse. This one, because it's been sitting in my workshop, it's probably a little dusty, even though I already gave it a good wash last night. But you know, I should have put it in a box. All right, now with this, I'm just going to put my cup on my scale. I'm using the Bee House, just sort of the generic Melita cone shape. That's the size basket we have today. And I went ahead and ground up 19 grams. This is a nice, kind of medium drip. I'm just going to drop that right in there. And let's tear that. All right, I'm going to turn it down a little bit so you can see what we're doing here. All right, so with the metal filter, all of our technique stays the same. I went a little bit more coarse than I normally would for this, because I was having a chat this morning with a coworker, and we were talking about dialing in grind size. And long story short, my philosophy is, with espresso, you tend to sneak toward the finest grind size that makes sense. With drip filter, you want to sneak toward the coarsest coffee grind size that makes sense. And the reason for that, it just tastes better. Now we just have a little more. Espresso is worse when it's under extracted, when you don't pull enough flavor out. Drip coffee is worse when you pull too much flavor out. So I gave approximately double my weight. Sorry, not my weight, that'd be ridiculous. I put double the weight of the coffee grounds in as water. Let that water soak in. And as soon as I see it kind of stop dripping, or a good 30 seconds, I'm just going to start in the middle of the coffee and just circle around. So with this, I'm sneaking toward the coarsest grind that makes sense for the brewer. With this coffee, I want to target at least 3 minutes of contact time, given the size of the particles that I have ground. If I can get closer to 4 minutes, I think that'll be a little bit nicer. The larger the particles, the slower they give out flavor, which means it needs more contact time. But the challenge therein is that the large particles allow the water to drip through much more quickly. So what we do to counteract that is we're going to use just a very slow delivery of water to expand that time. I'm also going to try to add a little bit of agitation. When I pour, I'm going to let the water not quite splash, but give a little bit more movement in there. Just on that edge where it doesn't bubble up and splash, like I was doing. But try to get a little more water movement in that. Now, I don't know if you can see it on the video, but I have a thin layer of what some people might call crema, but it's not, because we can't get crema unless we're doing espresso. There's a little layer of some more texture material. Looks like a little bit of the foam, the foaminess from up top, characteristic of the metal filter. So I've got about 100 grams of water left to add. I just want to do that nice and slowly. Just let that dribble in. And while that does that, I want to talk very briefly. Today is Monday, the last day of November, what's commonly referred to as Cyber Monday. I have one of these mirror tumblers. This one is from the Coffee Fest that happened in Tacoma. last year, and I absolutely love my Mir tumbler. Over the years, I have been given and or bought way too many travel mugs. For quite some time, if you ever came to visit at my house, I would brew you coffee, and if you had to drive home for an hour, I would send you off with your own travel mug full of coffee to keep you awake for the drive. And we are right now at 3.5 minutes, just at 300 grams of water. We're gonna let that drip. So, quick pitch on these Mir travel mugs. This is the 16-ounce size. I keep this one in my car. This travels with me everywhere. I use it for both coffee and water. It doesn't pick up all the nasty taste. Like sometimes you get that old coffee flavor. I haven't had that happen with this. I do wash it regularly, just a little soft sponge and some soap, hot water. But I use this for both coffee and water, and it's delicious. It's amazing. We have a special right now, our Cyber Monday deal. This same mug, but in a 24-ounce size. Sorry, 20-ounce size. If you buy one of those online, you'll also get a really cool pack of our Dancing Goats Steeped. That's kind of, it's like coffee in a tea bag, and it's really awesome. Great for traveling, so if you're out traveling around, one of these. The Steeped is coming to us in the variety pack, which is super rad because it gives you 1 bag of Dancing Goats traditional and 1 bag of Dancing Goats decaf. And don't you dare speak ill of decaf, because when you get such amazing flavor without the caffeine, and you can have that at 10 o'clock at night before you go to bed, it's pretty awesome. Anyway, it's a great deal. Worth it for the Mir travel mug alone. Super awesome. Just go to batdorfcoffee.com and you can pick up one for yourself and or a gift, or both. So, all right, here we have, I used the glass to brew into because I wanted to try to show you how thick that is. I should have probably done a side-by-side comparison, but this is going to be a nice, full-bodied, textured coffee. That metal filter, again, gives a good deal of my little fine particles passing through, so we can get a little more texture. It's not going to give as much as a French press. If you're looking for a French press, or if you're looking for espresso, those are the only things that are going to give you really that type of thing. The body on this is going to land somewhere between paper filter and a light-bodied French press. Yes, this Burundi Gahahe is delicious. We've got some other really fun coffees. Holiday Blend is out, and it's a really good one. Every year when the Holiday Blend comes out, I'm looking forward to it. It's different every year, and I like it every year. If you're familiar with the legendary La Manita farm out of Costa Rica, we've been working with La Manita, putting out our special sun-dried La Manita coffees for, good Lord, it's been a long time. That same farm, we have another lot from them, and we're calling that the Lilo. So it's a little bit different than the exclusively sun-dried La Manita name, but if you get the Costa Rica Lilo, that'll be from the same producers. So the people giving the same care and attention, just a slightly different drying process. Delicious, super amazing coffee. Of course, the Burundi Gahahe. And I would be remiss if I didn't plug any of our decaf selections. We always have 3: Dancing Goats decaf, Whirling Dervish decaf, for those who like the richer, smokier, chocolatey side, and then of course the decaffeinated Peru, another delicious coffee, and I drink all of them. Thank you for joining. Today is the Monday, last day in November. Again, you can also use, if you don't go in for one of the Batdorf branded Mir travel mugs and steeped packs, you can also just type in the code WATCHANDLEARN10 to get 10% off your order. I think you can use that twice a month. If you need more discounts or just want to stay plugged in, check out our Facebook page, and we have the VIP Batdorf Boosters group. You can request a join, and as long as you're not a bot, and if you like coffee, we'll let you in. So again, thank you for joining. Ben Jones here, Batdorf from Bronson. See you later.